We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello dear students, today we are going to study about a very interesting topic, that is of semiconductor laser. So first of all we will start this topic by explaining the full form of laser. The full form of laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So have you ever imagined by a use of semiconductor we can fabricate a laser? So on which principle the semiconductor laser is working? Again, in this particular theory we are going to discuss about the principle, construction and working of semiconductor laser. A semiconductor laser is a specially fabricated PN junction device where both the P and N regions are highly doped. That means in the P level or in the P region the holes are amountly equipped, and in the N region electrons are heavily equipped, which emits coherent light when it is forward biased. That means the contact of P materials or P region to the positive terminal and the N region to the negative terminal. That is the forward bias condition. Semiconductor lasers are also made to emit light almost in the spectrum from UV to IR. In the upcoming lecture you will identify the electromagnetic spectrum where different regions are available like ultraviolet, visible, IR, microwave regions. So the working of semiconductor laser is limited to the UV to IR spectrum. The semiconductor laser that is the most advantageous are of very small size, likely 0.1 millimeter long. They are efficient, portable and operate at very low power. In this figure you can analyze the construction of the semiconductor laser where the topmost material is P region, the bottom material is from N region, and the metallic contacts have been attached to the P and N regions both. The P region, as you can see from the figure, are made of the same semiconductor material, gallium arsenic. So gallium arsenic is filled in the both regions P and N. Metal contacts are used to connect P and N junction materials to the DC power supply, and hence you can see the arrow which represents the direction of current. In between the P and N region there is a depletion region. You can consider this as a band gap from which there will be the emission of light. The leftmost layer is considered as highly reflective end from which the maximum amount of light energy is initialized, and from the output side we have the partially reflective end from which the limited source of light will be emitted. P-type region is formed on the N-type by doping the zinc atoms, and this is in order to improve the conductivity of P-type region. Now we will see the working of the semiconductor laser. When high doped P and N regions are joined at the atomic level to form PN junction, the equilibrium is attained only when the equalization of Fermi level takes place, which is pushed inside the conduction band in N-type and inside the valence band in P-type materials. As we all know, the p-type materials are on the top end and n-type materials are on the bottom side, it is almost similar to verify the Fermi level. So the conduction band of n-type material will be lifted up and the valence band of the p-type material will be lower down to maintain the Fermi level equilibrium. So when the junction is forward bias, now the equilibrium is maintained. Now we are applying the external voltage and remain there is a low voltage. The electron and hole recombine. This is the important mechanism from which electron hole pair recombination is generated, which cause spontaneous emission. There are three possibilities: either there will be a stimulated absorption or stimulated emission or spontaneous emission. So in the forward bias condition at low voltage, electron and hole pairs recombine and cause spontaneous emission. But when the forward voltage reaches a threshold value, the carrier concentration rises to a very high value, and hence, as you can see from this figure, the Fermi level of n-type is slightly lifted up, the Fermi level for p-type is lower down, but the energy band gap remains constant. As a result, the depletion region contains a large number of electrons in the conduction band, at the same time large number of holes in the valence band. The upper energy level, here you can see the photon is emitting, so how has very large number of electron, and the lower energy level has large number of vacancy, that is holes. Thus population inversion is achieved. Due to this, recombination of electron and hole leads to the spontaneous emission and it stimulates the others to emit the radiation. So the excess amount of electrons which generated in the depletion region result into the emission of photon lights, and due to the mechanism of population inversion. So what are the advantages of semiconductor laser? Number one, no need of mirrors in semiconductor lasers, as you are going to see the necessity of these mirrors in solar cells. Number two, semiconductor lasers have high efficiency. Number three, low power consumption is also its great advantage. Number 4, construction of semiconductor lasers is very simple. You just have to overlap the P layer to the N layer. This is very small in size, as we discussed in the first slide, of 0.1 millimeter long and are economically advantageous. So these are some advantages, but as we all know that every coin has two sides. So what are the disadvantages of semiconductor lasers? These lasers are temperature dependent, and thus temperature affects the output of the laser. So with increase in the temperature, you can see the higher amount of light or the higher voltage of light is coming out because of the increasing temperature and very excessive amount of electrons in the depletion region. The second disadvantage is lasing medium of semiconductor lasers are too short and rectangular, so the output beam profile has an unusual shape. The normal laser lights which you have rarely used in your childhood, it has an output of shape very circular, or you can say a dot, but here in when you are using semiconductor laser, you may have some unusual shape, and we need the requirement of cooling system in some cases, because in order to maintain the constant flow of voltage for your practical purpose, then the temperature should be maintained, and in order to restrict the excess amount of temperature, there is a requirement of cooling system. So this was all about the principle, construction and working of semiconductor laser. And this is also again very important question in view of your GTU examination. can be asked for 7 marks. So thanks for visiting this lecture.